Page 37, the Magic Piper. Somehow I got to redo this lesson because I lost some of the files. That happens sometimes. On page 36, they're introducing you to the B-flat major scale. It has 2 flats, and I have scale videos on it. I recommend you use the scale videos. I don't like using music with a scale. I want to know what the notes are on the keyboard and the feel of playing it. I get into the feel of playing B-flats and E-flats. So when I play in a key in B-flat major, like the Magic Piper, I just play the notes in the scale. I don't have to worry about what's flatted and what's not. It's so much easier. But let's talk about it briefly. You're starting on a B-flat, going to a B-flat, and you got a B-flat in the middle. Fine. Different fingering teachers teach slightly. But I want to use 3rd finger on the E-flat and 4th finger on the B-flat and a there. Here. That's when you start. When I was in college, I had to start on the note that I would use in the scale if I were going way up and down. So that would be 4th finger. So I would have to start on 4th finger. It's good practice. When in music, I might start it on almost any finger. Who knows what. And the left hand is 3, 4, and 3 at the top. And again, at the top, get away with 2nd finger, but I had to use the same finger I would use as if I were going to keep going. 1, 2, 3. And so then you go to put them together because the fingers are all different. I covered that in the scale video. I got trill exercise will help you in the wrists and the accents and so forth. Yeah, that's really all. I would prefer you go to the scale video and do that. Now let's talk about this piper. I look it over, it's a page long. It's actually twice as long because every line is repeated, but it's a page of music to learn. The clef signs are treble and bass clef. The 2 flats in the key signature, we've already covered it. It's in B-flat major, so do the scales, for B-flat. If you're doing minor scales, go ahead and do the scale for G minor, because G minor has 2 flats also. And 6/8 time, which explains all the 8th notes. An 8th note gets a count. Right hand first, let's see what we're doing. So 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and. 16th notes is just an and. 1 and 2 and 3 and crossover. Reach up. If you can't reach 4th finger there, you can use little finger in the 3rd measure to start, but then use 2nd. Like, just scrunch up a little bit. Yeah. Now, when you repeat the first line, there's a note, 2nd time AVA. That means you're up here. Well, if I finish the first time here, I got to come up here. Yuck. I'd like to be a little closer to that if I can. And what I can do is, once I play it, holding it down, I'm going to put thumb on it. That way, I'm closer to repeating. Then, in the 2nd time when I play it, then I got to come down for the 2nd line. I'm down here. So again, here, I could play it with 4th finger. I'm talking to the end of the first line. Scrunch up. Use 4th finger. You can use 5th. But this puts me a little closer to where I need to be for the 2nd line. I'm just trying to get prepared to make it a little easier for the move. That's all I'm doing. So the first time I play it here, I'm going to play it and then put thumb on it. But here, I'm going to put 4th finger and then come down. And then up here, there's a couple ways of fingering this. You do it the way your teacher tells you to. But in the 2nd measure, the 2nd line, you're here. Then the VA means you're up here. I can do 5, 2, 1. And I'm in position here if I want to. Or I can do a thumb here in the 2nd measure of the 2nd line. Here, now I'm in position for 3. Different ways of fingering it, but I want to connect the notes with the fingers if I can. Do it the way your teacher tells you to. When you repeat, you got to come down here. So it'd be nice maybe to end with a little finger so I'm a little closer. So it's just scrunch up a little finger. This way I'm a little closer to repeating for that. But when I go on, now I'm coming down here. I'm a little closer to going to the third line here. And the third line is like the first line. You're playing it down here first, and the second time you're playing it up here, just like you did the first line. However, when you go to the last line, that note, that's the same note as you ended the third line on. That's fine, you just hear it. Now we just got a scale going down. I'm going fast, you go slow. I just want to kind of cover this briefly so you get an idea. In the left hand, you're starting out here. Okay, and the dotted half note is 6. It takes up the whole measure. So that dotted quarter notes are 3 apiece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now when you repeat and you have to go up an octave, it's only the right hand. The left hand doesn't move. It's right there. It stays right there. So in the second line, it's an E flat F, and just the bottom note's changing. Oh, let's put the hands together and see what we get. And I'll hesitate. That's okay. Just here. And then here. And here. I'm going to repeat. The right hand goes up. Get the idea? You go through and put them together. I already did. However, the last line now, keep these even. Eventually. Because the right hand's got to come up as you're doing that. Here. You may have to practice that a little bit. So I'll put the hands together and then I'll go back over to line at a time, slowly. How slow is up to you, but slowly, and get rid of any hesitation. So it's a steady beat, start to finish. And only work on the parts where you're hesitating. Don't keep playing the whole thing. Just where you're having problems. Work out the problems. Then you put it together. Then after the hesitations have left for a while, for now, I add the articulation. Connect this. These are slurs. I'm going to connect this whole first line together until I get to the end. Here, if I can. Now you may have to lift up to move, but that's okay because they could be 2-measure phrases. Accent in the last measure, staccato. Bottom, bum, bum. Yeah. Second line is. And be careful on these staccatos because there's a tendency as you staccato and you come off, you'll accidentally accent it. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Don't. The natural accent is the first one. The last line, it's all staccato all the way to the end until the last note. You just play a little louder. It gets 2 beats. Yeah. Then after the articulation, I had the dynamics. F-P on the first line. So the first time it's loud in the right hand. Huh? And then when you repeat it, it's soft. The left hand is in the background someplace. Just keep it out of the way. Repeat. Second line, moderately soft. A little louder. And then they want moderately soft again and go up again. Here, up to loud. Okay, so you're going to go up. And then come back up and go up again. It's kind of like shifting gears. I don't like that effect, but that's what they're doing, so okay. Third line is the same as the first, and the last line, you're starting this loud, and you're gradually going to go down to sort of soft until the last measure. Each one is accented and getting louder. So you go back up to loud. Yeah. Loud. Softer. Now, this at the end. Okay, not cool? I guess. Then after the dynamics, I had the speed. Allegro moderato. It's the feel of it. So where do you want? Here, I think it's the feel of the 16th, or the 8th note, the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because at 6, 8 times, sometimes it's referring to the natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Do that as an allegro moderato. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. It just zips. So it's got to be the speed of the beat in this case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't even have to take it that fast if you don't want to. Just move it along. Now they've added pedal. I don't know why they're adding pedal. They're pedaling every other measure here in the first and third lines. All I can think of is its contrast. You have the pedal to smear everything together, and then you clear it out. I think that sounds terrible. I absolutely disagree with that. I would not pedal this piece at all. I want it to be clean and clear in here. It's a piper, a flute player, and a flute player can't hold notes out, multiple notes. They one note at a time is all you get, pretty much, on a flute, huh? That's my piper for now. We'll see what happens later. You don't have to take it that fast. But go ahead and feel the natural accents, whether you're doing it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, especially the last line. Feel those natural accents. When you have a run like that, it helps you to keep the notes smooth and even. You're going someplace. You're going from this to this to this, and you're playing these other notes to get there. It's here, here, here. I'm going to that. Those are my milestones, my points I'm headed for, and these other notes just connect me to it. Thinking here, 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 here. Yeah, I'm just playing the other notes too. It helps to keep runs smooth and even and controlled. It's not just a bunch of whatever. Ugh. It really helps. It does that. That's the way the pros do it, so why not? Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. Now, we're not performing it. I'm not going to do the louds and softs. We will do the repeats. I'll do the articulation, the staccatos and all, and I'll give us 6 counts very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready, go. Repeat. Two, three. Repeat. Two, three. Repeat. Two, three. wrist.